Hey guys, it's Bryson Taylor here. Welcome back to today's video. Today I've got a really fun video planned for you guys. We are going to be diving in and comparing and contrasting a $250 Epiphone Les Paul and a $5,500 Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul. We're going to be looking at tone, playability, comfortability. We're going to be going through a lot of categories. Now, I play this Gibson Les Paul a lot. This is one of my main axes. I'm sure you guys seen me play it in a video or two, but I love an underdog too. So we're going to play this Epiphone and see how it holds up against the Gibson and just have some fun doing it. So let's dive in and see how these two go neck and neck. So when we're looking at these guitars today, we're going to be looking at tone, playability, comfort, versatility, and price. Some of the more important factors when deciding on what new guitar to get. Now, I feel like most people already know how this is going to end before it starts. Everybody thinks Gibson's going to win. I can't disagree. I own a lot of Gibson guitars. They make a very fine instrument, but a lot of things about Epiphone that's very nice too, especially the price for one. They're very affordable for people who can't go shell $5,000 out for a new guitar. I feel like every time I go to Guitar Center and look at the new Gibson or ask what the price is, they always say
$100 billion.
But on a more serious note, let's assess both of the guitars that we're looking at and learn just a little bit more about both of them. Gibson Les Paul and the Epiphone Les Paul. So starting with the underdog, the Epiphone Les Paul. This is an Epiphone Les Paul 100. I got this a few years back from my grandpa who no longer plays. He gave it to me. As you can tell by the dust on the guitar, I don't get to play it much either. I've got a couple others I prefer to play, but this is a great guitar. If you're looking for a new one, it's going to cost you about $250 was the cheapest one that I could find. Now this is a Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul Black Beauty. I got this new in 2014. It's actually a 2013 model, but if you're looking to get one of these new, it's going to cost you about $5,500 is the cheapest one that I could find anywhere online. Now you might be able to get a used one a little bit cheaper somewhere else, but a new one's going to cost you about $5,500. Like I said, both these old guitars were pretty dirty, so I got all the dust, dirt, and nastiness off of them. Went in and cleaned them up and polished them, but I used this Dunlop 65 lemon oil. Somebody gave it to me a long time ago, and I've been using it ever since, but it's about $10 for a bottle. I've had this bottle for 3 years. One bottle's basically a lifetime supply, but somebody also gave me an abundance of these 9-gauge D'Addario strings that I've been trying to use and just get rid of, but that's what I put on the Epiphone Les Paul for the video today. And then for the Gibson Les Paul and for most of my other guitars, I run the Elixirs. They're the 10-gauge nano webs is what I use for most of my other guitars. So that's what I went ahead and put on the Gibson Les Paul for the video today. So if you're wondering what string gauge is on both and what I typically run, that's what it's going to be on both of the axes for today in the video. Alright, now that we're all restrung and ready to go, let's plug her in and see how she sounds. Alright, after going from semi-clean to a pretty dirty sound and playing it for a little bit, my personal thoughts, my likes, it sounds good. The humbuckers in here really sound good. It sounds like a very nice guitar. It's got a really strong tone to it. It's very aggressive. It does sound good for being only 250 bucks. I know everybody's looking for a bargain on all their guitars that they get, so 250 bucks for the sound that you get out of this is pretty good, I will say that. A couple of dislikes. First off, it does not stay in tune very well. I'll just go ahead and say it. I wish it stayed in tune just a little bit better. It kind of phases in and out of tune. I know I just restrung it, but even still, I've finessed it enough to where it should stay in tune a little bit better. I've been playing on the strings for a couple of days to where it should stay in tune just a hair better, but goes in and out of tune, unfortunately, which, I mean, to some people it's not a big deal, to some people it is. To me, it drives me nuts when it goes out of tune, after playing it when it should stay in tune, but that's a guitar for you. That's what they do. Another dislike, the neck feels really stiff. I don't care for the way the neck feels all that much, at least on this particular model. It's not bad. Again, for 250 bucks, you got to think about what you're getting, but overall, the tone is pretty good. It's just the neck is pretty stiff in my opinion, and it kind of goes in and out of tune a little bit. But for 250 bucks, not a bad guitar at all. But I say I would recommend this to somebody. I've played a lot of $250 guitars, and this is definitely towards the top of that list. So if anybody's looking for a cheaper guitar, maybe one to start out on, I would recommend this. It's not a bad little guitar for 250 bucks. So those are my thoughts on the Epiphone. Let's go to the Les Paul, the Gibson Les Paul, and let's see how she does. Alright, so review time for the Gibson Les Paul. So starting off with the pros, it's a great guitar. I mean, there's just really no other way to say it. It sounds good. It feels great.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
I don't really know how else to say it. The neck is really, really smooth, very, very easy to slide your fingers up and down. The neck feels great. Overall sound, it sounds fantastic. I mean, you can't beat those humbuckers in there. Just sounds really, really good. Now, as far as cons, my biggest con with this particular instrument and most Gibson Les Pauls in general, and it's silly, but it is a con to some players who it's important to, is the weight. This thing is solid. I mean, it is solid, solid, solid. It weighs probably about 10 pounds. That's usually about what a custom like this will weigh, is around 10 pounds. But, to somebody who plays a lot standing up, these are on the heavier side, definitely. Got a lot of weight to them. So something to keep in mind when you're looking at one of these. They're very, very, very thick. They're thick. But other than the weight, I really have no complaints. This thing sounds fantastic. Sounds really, really good. Highly recommended if you have the means. Obviously, $5,500 is pretty expensive for one of these bad boys. I remember when I bought this one, things used to be cheaper. This was actually about $4,500 when I bought it a long time ago. About 10 years ago, actually, is about when it was. But it was $4,500, so it was about $1,000 cheaper than what it costs to get a new one now. But the prices on everything have gone up. Unfortunately, it costs $200 to walk outside your door right now and take a breath. So, but if you're looking for a Les Paul and you've been thinking about a custom, I couldn't recommend this more. Really, really nice guitar. So that's kind of my feedback and review on this particular one. So let's compare and contrast and go back and forth on both of them and go through all of our qualities and see which one held up better on our qualities list. Alright, so reviewing our qualities for both, having played them for a little bit, kind of demoed them both for a little while. The first category we had looked at was tone. Hands down, Gibson Les Paul. There's really no comparison, if I'm being quite honest. This thing just sounds great. Epiphone puts up a really good fight though for the price, for $250 compared to $5,500. But yeah, you can't beat the Gibson Les Paul sound. It sounds like a Les Paul. It sounds fantastic. Great guitar, great sound. Now for playability, again, the Epiphone wasn't bad. But like I said, the neck felt a little stiff to me. Kind of went out of tune a little bit on me a couple times. Which again, for the price, you get what you pay for. But again, it's still not bad. It really isn't. But again, for playability, I'm gonna have to give that to the Gibson Les Paul. Next category was comfort. Now, comfort, I will say this, hands down, the Epiphone, it's about 3 or 4 pounds lighter, definitely a little lighter than this big monster. It's really not a bad guitar, to somebody who maybe has back problems or, can't stand up very long while playing and you're looking for something a little lighter. If you're going back and forth, this particular Epiphone, this particular model is a little bit lighter, I will say, so definitely a little bit easier on the back. When you're standing up playing, just a lot less weight. But yeah, I'm going to give comfort to the Epiphone. Epiphone's definitely a little more comfortable to play. Not that this one isn't comfortable, it's just as far as weight goes, this one's a little lighter. So, but small things. But next was versatility. They both sound great. You can play whatever genre you want with a Les Paul, Epiphone, or Gibson. Really doesn't matter. But within versatility, there's a certain aspect of tone in there, and again, I'm going to have to give that to the Les Paul. It sounds great. You can't beat it. You can play anything with a Les Paul. You can play anything with an Epiphone or a Gibson, but overall, versatility, I'm going to go Gibson, Les Paul on that one. And lastly was price. Now, obviously, price is the biggest thing. So I'm sure a lot of your guys' bigger questions surrounding this video would be, is this worth $5,500 and is this worth $250? Short answer, you're going to have to play them and find out. Everybody's different. In my opinion, this is a pretty good deal for $250. The Epiphone Les Paul certainly is. You know, for what you get, the sound is really what sells you on it more than anything, I think. Playability and, you know, luxuries of how the frets feel and, you know, how the board feels. You're going to be leaning more towards the Gibson Les Paul, obviously. But overall price for $250, you know, it's really not bad, I will say. No complaints on the price, it's really not bad. Yeah, $250 not bad for an Epiphone Les Paul, at least for this model. I know they make Epiphone Les Paul customs and, you know, some nicer Epiphones, and they make cheaper Gibsons as well, you know, some cheaper Les Pauls. But again, comparing what we're comparing, $250 for this, not bad at all. Now, $5,500 for a Gibson Les Paul custom. It's pretty steep. A lot of money. Definitely a lot of money. That's, you know, that's more than some people make in a month when you really break it down and think about it. It's crazy that guitars have gotten that expensive, and I mean, to a certain degree, I know they're making Les Pauls now, some reissues, some 59 reissues and stuff that are like 10 grand. That's just crazy expensive for a guitar. They're really getting up there, you know. But for $5,500, I will say you get a heck of an instrument. I'm not really going to weigh in on whether it's worth it. It's kind of subjective, honestly, and I don't want you guys to come for me in the comments whatsoever. But $5,500, you definitely get what you pay for. You get a great instrument, you really do. It plays great, it sounds great. I have no complaints about this thing. Having had it a couple years, I've played it religiously, but it's really a great instrument, you know. So no complaints there, but obviously the price is steep, so whether it's worth it or not, you know, in my opinion, I think it is. But you know, to you, maybe not. I really do miss the days when these were a little bit cheaper, because I remember, like I said a little bit ago, I bought this for $4,500, and now if you want one, they're $5,500. So, like I said, everything's expensive right now. Prices on everything are up more than they should be, unfortunately, but it's the world we live in. But when it comes down to it, two great options. You know, if you're teetering with either one of these, I would highly recommend both of them. You know, they've both got some different qualities, but at the end of the day, they're Les Pauls. We all want more Paul, not Les Paul. But two great guitars. I couldn't recommend either one of them more. The Epiphone definitely held its weight. It definitely put up a good fight, although the Gibson won. Gibson clear winner, you know, comparing both of them. But, you know, if you want a Les Paul and, you know, you just don't have $5,500 laying around like most of us, I would definitely recommend an Epiphone of some sort. Epiphone, they make a great guitar. You know, I've got quite a few Epiphones as well as Gibsons too. I'll show you guys some of them in some later videos, but Epiphone, definitely a great guitar. Highly recommend it. But yeah, comparing both of them, you got some great options in front of you guys. I would recommend either. Like I said, there's some models in between, you know, some traditional, some studio Les Pauls, and then there's some Epi Les Paul custom, stuff like that. So I would try them out, you know, see what sounds good for you guys. But if you're looking at one of these two, highly recommend. Both of them are really good, sound really good. Sound is probably the biggest thing they've got going for them, is just the tone. It sounds really good on both of them. So Epiphone definitely held its weight, but Les Paul is, I think, the clear winner for today. So Gibson Les Paul takes the cake on this one. Alright guys, that will conclude today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to build the channel up for you guys and get some more lessons, reviews, you know, comparisons, all kinds of stuff on here for you guys. So got a lot of quality content coming your guys' way. If you guys are able, please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. All the support really goes a long way. So again, thank all of you, all my current subscribers. But if you don't mind, you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. If there's anything you guys want to learn, see me review, please put it in the comments. I'm happy to try to make some content directed for you guys, you know, that you're wanting to see. For anybody that watched this video today and said, man, I'm more of a Strat guy or a Tele guy, we've got a video coming your way here pretty soon on Strats, Teles. So we got some fun stuff coming up. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.